Oh, Lynette here. I don't know if you've been following this yellow vest rioting that's going on in France. It's pretty impressive. Got to give the French credit. They know how to hold a revolution, don't they? It's in its third week, so this is very serious. It started out because Macron raised the tax on diesel. Of course, they sell a lot more diesel there. Most of their vehicles run on diesel. And it was the straw that broke the camel's back because people are struggling. Just everyday middle class people are struggling with their standard of living. It's just gotten to be so expensive. France lost a lot of their factories, in the last 20 years to overseas, just like we did. So people they moved to the country where it's more affordable to live, but they still have to work in the city, so they still have to drive there. So you strangle people so much if you raise the cost of the gas that is what put in their car to get to work. It's just bad. Best I can figure out, they're looking at somewhere around $7 our U.S. money a gallon, which, whoa, yeah, we'd be having kittens if we had to pay that. Their Social Security and healthcare reforms have bitten into their standard of living too. And people are they are caught between a rock and a hard place. And the protests started with people just blocking the roads, and these yellow vests. I thought to myself, why the yellow vests? It's very interesting. Who sold them all these yellow vests? Well, apparently in France you have to have that as part of your emergency vehicle, kind of, part of your jack and your tire kind of thing. And so that's why when they stop cars on the highway, these protesters, they will ask the drivers of the cars to take their yellow vests and put them up on their dashboard to show their solidarity. So it's kind of neat. But the problem is that all of these 136,000 protesters across the country have been infiltrated by extremists on the far left and the far right. And it sounds like there's kind of Antifa-like people there too, they're not part of the peaceful protest that started out, which was great. Now they're wrecking fancy shops on the Champs-Elysees and defacing the Arc de Triomphe and just really destructive stuff. And it's a shame because it only hurts their movement. But the core people are frustrated and unhappy with what Macron has done to their lives, as it should be. He is so out of touch with real people. He's just, he's a classic, like a French king. I think that they should hang him, actually, is what they should do. It'd be fitting. But 4 people have been killed by mostly traffic, car accidents, because people are out in the streets. And hundreds have been wounded and in hospital. The headline on Newsweek here recently said, that does Macron have to step down? And that's a far left American magazine asking the question. That's interesting. He has been hand in glove with Angela Merkel in Germany, and now she has given up her being head of the party. She's still the prime minister, but I think that's only a matter of weeks before she's not even that. I think by giving up being head of the party, she's started that process. So he will be out there kind of by himself. And this is a good thing. This is the man who told Donald Trump that being a nationalist was akin to being a Nazi, and that it was absolutely abhorrent to civilized people. He's the one who's married to that woman who's like 28 years older than him. She was one of his teachers. He's just got this bad story altogether. And when you look at him, you can see, I think he has a look in his eye of being a really, somebody who's out of touch with reality. So we'll see where this whole thing goes. I wish the protesters the best of luck, and I hope that they don't have a leader. See, at this point, so you have the far left, you have the far right, you have the people in the middle, and there's nobody seemingly in charge that can go to the government and say, here's our list of demands. This is what you need to do. You have this person who's a spokesperson and this person, but there's no real cohesive voice, and that's hurting their movement. I would like to see people start talking about tying this together with the influx of illegal immigrants and undocumented people that have come from third world countries into France. It's over 1 million in the past 3 years. And they are such a drain on the government as far as social services and education, medical care. They've been given housing. They've just been given everything, but they never paid a dime into any kind of, in taxes. They just took this big giant sucking machine. And so far I'm not seeing that on the news, those points being connected, which I don't see how you can't connect them, because if their economy is tanking, what's caused that? Well, it's because they've had this burden of these extra bodies there. And so far, nobody's calling Macron out on that. That if you hadn't let these immigrants in, then we wouldn't have this problem. But I don't see how you can avoid seeing that as the truth. So I'll have to wish them luck. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share and comment.